Hello guys, this is your friend Shinobi Nexus 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Kakashi left Naruto to die in the Valley of the End and build Harem, Part 1, Naruto x Harem. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Sasuke sat there looking at the limp body on Naruto, not believing that he was able to drive him to such an extent that he was almost completely out of chakra. He sensed that another chakra source was coming close and fast. He knew if he didn't get out of this area soon he would be caught. He turned and tried to jump into the trees, but his legs gave out and he fell flat on his face. As he tried to get up he heard a dog bark. "Right, Pakun, we need to get there before he gets away," said Kakashi. Kakashi got to the area where his two students was and saw ouch bad Naruto was damaged, but overlooked it when he saw that Sasuke also looked to be knocked out. He immediately ran to his side to check on his vitals and to make sure he is alive. "Kakashi, what are you doing? We need to get this pup back to the older blonde now or he will die," said Pakun. Kakashi just ignored him and continued to look over Sasuke. After a few more minutes he lifted him up on his shoulder and turned to Naruto. "How is it that he was able to fight Sasuke until I got here?" "That don't matter. What the hell is wrong with you, Kakashi? Do you want this pup to die?" yelled Pakun. Just a few yards away heading towards the village was Sume and her partner Kuro. She heard the yell of someone going to die and went to check it out. When she got there she saw what looked like a kid lying on the ground covered in blood with a dog sitting next to him barking loudly. "Hey, I know you're Pakun, Kakashi's summon, aren't you?" she asked. "Yes I am, but he was cut off." "Shit, isn't that Naruto? Where is the rest of the team that was supposed to be with him? Did they get here in time to stop Sasuke and went ahead to fight him as a medic nin coming to help him so they didn't move him?" she asked quickly. "Yes, this is Naruto. The team is back in the village. Most of them was hurt doing their part of the mission. Naruto did make it in time to stop Sasuke. Kakashi took him back to the village. He just left," said Pakun. "What do you mean he just left? His student is still laying here dying and he just left." "Yay, he took the Uchiha back and left Naruto. That bastard, I'll rip his insides out," she yelled. Are you going to take him back to the village before he dies?" "Of course I am. Why would I leave him?" She then picked him up and put him on the back of her partner and they ran off towards the village. Inside Naruto's mind, Naruto was just waking up and looked around and couldn't figure out where he was. Everything was dark and wet. He was sitting in water that he guessed would be ankle deep if he stood up. After getting fully awake and adjusting to the darkness, he stood up and wandered around looking for a light switch or a door. Back in the village, Tsunade had just finished clearing Choji and he was now safely off the critical list but was not allowed to leave the hospital for a few weeks until he had all movement back in his body and had replenished the chakra he lost. She was now standing at the gate waiting for Naruto to come back. Standing a few feet back was Sakura waiting for Sasuke to return. She just knew deep down that he would come back to be with her. Shizune was still in the operation room working on Neji. Hinata was sitting outside of his door waiting on the news of if he would be okay. She was also worried for Naruto, who still has not come back yet. She wanted to cry not knowing if her love and crush would be okay or not. She took her mind off of things by visiting Lee, Choji, Shikamaru, and Kiba. When she was finished visiting she started to talk to Tamari, who saw her sitting by herself and came to sit with her. Kakashi had just arrived at the gate with Sasuke over his shoulder. "Tsunade-sama, the mission to get Sasuke was complete, but I'm sorry that not all made it," he said with a fake sad tone. Sakura was glad to see Sasuke back. "Sensei, is he okay?" she asked. "Don't know, we have to get him to the hospital and have him checked before we truly know," Kakashi said. "Stop talking and get the bastard to the hospital before I send him to prison without being looked at," Tsunade snapped. Sakura and Kakashi quickly cleared out towards the hospital. Tsunade looked out towards the direction Kakashi came from one last time before she left to the hospital. Kakashi ran into the hospital. "I need a stretcher now," he yelled. The nurse turned and saw Sasuke and got a stretcher quickly. Hinata saw Kakashi come in and walked over to him followed by Tamari. Kakashi-sensei, she stuttered nervously. Yes, Hinata, he answered. Is Naruto back also? She asked. He looked at her with a fake sad smile. Sorry, Hinata. I know how much you like him and it pains me to have to tell you this. But sometimes when a ninja go on a mission of this caliber they don't come home. He is in a better place. He finally gets to meet his parents, he said. Hinata and Tamari were so shocked by this that they didn't move when Kakashi and Sakura walked past them. Slowly they came back to reality. No, this can't be. Please tell me this is one of his stupid jokes. Hinata started to cry. Come on, Hinata, let's find the Hokage, said Tamari, pulling the girl into a hug while she cried. They walked towards the door of the hospital when Tsunade walked in. She saw the girls walking towards them and told them to follow her. Look, you two, there is something going on and I don't like it, she told Hinata and Tamari. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? Asked Tamari. Hinata still cried. I told you to call me Tsunade, and I mean something to do with Naruto. I need you two to find Anko and Kurenai and head out to the Valley of Death and see if you can find any trace of Naruto's body, dead or alive, she told them. But Tsunade-sama, his sensei, even said he saw him dead. Why would he say that if he is not dead? Hinata said with a terribly bad stutter that Tsunade barely understood it. I know what he said, but still I want to make sure it's true. Now you can find the two Junins at the Dango spot and hurry. I want his body back to me, dead or alive, she commanded. They nodded and headed out of the hospital towards the Dango spot. They reached the Dango spot with Hinata still crying hard on Tamari's shoulder. Tamari looked around to look for Anko since she didn't know what Kurenai looked like. As she looked, she saw someone who she thought could be Anko. Hinata, Anko is the lady from the second exam, right? She felt Hinata nod on her shoulder. She walked up to the table that held the lady from the exam. Excuse me, but are you Anko? She asked. Anko looked over at her. Who wants to know? She asked. Anko, leave the kid alone. She probably wants to ask you a question. She then turned and looked at the two. Hinata, she practically yelled. Hinata pushed herself off Tamari and jumped onto Kurenai's arms. Sensei, this is bad. Why did he have to die? She stuttered out while crying. What? Asked Anko. She is crying because Naruto died on the mission to bring back Sasuke. But Sasuke is fine in the hospital being looked at by doctors, and Tsunade-sama wants us four to go to the Valley of End to find his body, dead or alive, said Tamari. Naruto dead, mumbled Kurenai while rubbing Hinata's back. Well, let's get going, we have a mission, said Anko. Anko, how could you be so rude? You know how she feels about him, said Kurenai. I know that, but her sitting here crying is not going to make anything better. Besides, I don't think he is dead, said Anko. You mean he could be alive, Anko-sensei? Stuttered Hinata. Yay, it's Hinata. Besides, Kurenai, do you think it would so easily? She said. You're right, Anko, said Kurenai. Come on, sensei, we have to find Naruto-kun. If he could be alive, he won't survive being by himself, said Hinata, pulling her sensei. Okay, Hinata, we are coming, said Kurenai. They ran to the exit and was about to leave when a group of dogs and Sume came running by. Move, need to get to hospital, Sume yelled. They jumped out of the way and saw the biggest dog had Naruto on its back. Hinata's heart skipped at how badly injured he was. Oh no, he needs help now, said Hinata, running over to Naruto, who was now lying on the ground since the dog was dead, tired from running so far. She ran up and put her ear on his chest where his heart is and got excited when she heard a faint heartbeat. Sensei, he is alive but won't make it to the hospital. We need to do something to give him a little extra time, she said. None of you would happen to know any medic jutsus, would you? Asked Sume. They all shook their heads no, with a sad look on their faces. Hinata took off her pack and started to throw stuff out of it onto the ground around her. Hinata, what are you doing? Asked Kurenai. She didn't answer, just kept going through her pack until she found what she was looking for. Found it, she said happily. She then opened the medium-sized jar up and they all were hit by the fragrance of the smell. It had a lavender smell to it. She started to rub the stuff inside the jar all over Naruto's body. She did this with a small blush on her face. "Then I hope it gives us enough time to get to Tsunade," she said. "No time like now to find out," said Anko, grabbing the boy bridal style and running off towards the hospital, followed by the rest. They ran into the hospital and looked around and saw everything stop and all eyes were on them. "Where the fuck is Tsunade?" Anko yelled at the top of her lungs. "Anko, this is a hospital," said Shizune, coming around the corner. "No time for games, Shizune, he needs help now," replied Anko, putting Naruto on the stretcher that Shizune had. "You know this was for someone." She finally looked at the person on the stretcher. "Else. Shit, get me a room ready now and go find Tsunade now. Whatever she is doing, it can wait," Shizune yelled out orders. The nurses looked at the boy and didn't move. "What the fuck are you doing standing around? You was given orders by your superior and you are not obeying them?" asked Anko, leaking out her key. The nurses scrambled to find a free room and locate Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, you're needed now," said one nurse, running into the room that Sasuke was in. "I'm busy, I'm sure it can wait," she replied. Shizune said, "What you're doing could wait," the nurse replied. "What could be so important?" asked Tsunade. The last member of that team was just brought in by Anko, Hinata, Kurenai, Sume, and Tamari from Suna, the nurse said. Tsunade glared at Kakashi, then headed for the door. "Tsunade-sama, what about Sasuke?" he asked. "He is fine. All that was wrong was he used too much chakra. If you're wondering, I was not going to heal him. He is going to stay like that and I'll talk to you later, Kakashi." She then walked out the room following the nurse. She walked into the room that held Naruto and saw Sume, Anko, Kurenai, Tamari, and Hinata sitting in the chairs that was in the room. She also saw Shizune hooking Naruto up to some IVs. "Give me a report of his condition," she said to Shizune. "I don't know how, but whatever they did on the way here saved his life. Even it don't seem to be able to completely heal him for some reason, and if we don't act now, all the effort to get him here will be in vain," said Shizune. "Okay, let's get started," said Tsunade. They stood on either side of Naruto and their hands started to glow green, and Tsunade worked on the upper part of his body while Shizune worked on the lower part. In Naruto's mind, Naruto finally found a small walkway that led him down a small corridor. As he walked, he saw the multiply images of his past and started to run. As he ran, the hall got longer. "Stop!" he yelled. It continued. "Please stop, I'll do anything, please stop these images," he cried. The images then stopped. "Boy, stand up and look at me," said a voice. He slowly got off his knees and looked at the figure. He sniffed. "Who are you and where am I?" he asked. "You are in your mind and I'm the great Kyuubi no Kitsune," said the figure. "What, you're supposed to be dead?" Then the memories of when he passed the genin exam showed. "Right, I forgot." "Don't forget again or I'll kill you," said Kyuubi. "Bullshit, if you do that then you also die," Naruto yelled. "You really think that? Want to try?" asked Kyuubi. Naruto hesitated. "No," he said. "Good, now we need to talk," said Kyuubi. "I don't want to talk to you," said Naruto. "You have no choice in the matter," said Kyuubi, then used its chakra to force Naruto to sit. "Now you're about to learn what has happened throughout your entire life." Naruto was about to interrupt, but Kyuubi stopped him. "I'm not talking about the things you know about, but what you don't. You see, ever since you was born there has been a group of people trying to have you killed or exiled, and unfortunately with the last mission you went on, it is a high possibility you will be exiled if not killed. Now this is a problem for you because it would end your life for something you have no control over. But all is not lost, because from what I can tell you have a few friends who won't let you be killed," said Kyuubi. "How do you know all this?" "I know more than you think, but you have to find out yourself. But trust me, that blonde lady won't let anything happen without a fight. Now you need to learn that you don't control me or my power, and I could get out of this cell anytime I want, so you better show respect when talking to me, got it?" said Kyuubi. "What makes you think you scare me? I know you can't get out of that cage or it will kill you. And just because you're bigger and stronger does not mean I'll back down from you," yelled Naruto. "I like you. Most other people would have shit themselves by now. But no, if you try my patience I will punish you, said Kyuubi. Whatever, just because you men are bigger than me doesn't mean I'll just sit by and take shit from you guys. I'm tired of being bullied by bigger people, yelled Naruto. Did you just call me a guy? Asked Kyuubi. Yes, why does it matter, you are a guy, he said. A burst of chakra came from the cage and it blew open and Kyuubi was out with a tail around Naruto's neck, holding him up against the wall, looking directly into his eyes. On the outside, Tsunade and Shizune quickly pulled their hands back when they saw the burst of red chakra come from Naruto's seal. They shared a look and looked back down at Naruto. Hinata and Temari looked surprised at the chakra coming from Naruto. Sume, Anko, and Kurenai got ready to fight if they need to. Sensei, what's that chakra? Asked Hinata. I'll tell you later, but don't tell anyone about this, said Tsunade. She just hoped that no one outside this room could feel his chakra. Inside Naruto's mind, if you want to continue to live you will not call me a guy ever again in your life, said Kyuubi. Naruto slowly nodded. Good, now if you're lucky I'll train you, but first you need to learn respect and it's time for you to wake up, and with the help of the 2 medic nins you're completely healed, said Kyuubi, dropping Naruto, then using her chakra to push him out of his mind. Back outside, Naruto slowly opened his eyes and moaned out as the light from the room was the first thing he saw. Everyone heard the moan and was up and around the bed and immediately. Ba-chan is going to kill me for almost dying like that, he said while his eyes adjust. Damn right, I am Gaki who gave you permission to try and die like that, said Tsunade. Sorry, you said to bring Sasuke back, Naruto said, finally getting his eyes adjusted. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Stuttered Hinata. I'm fine, he said. That's good. Now what happened? Said Tsunade. Naruto explained everything, leaving out the part about Kyuubi. I see, so he did use that seal to get more power, said Tsunade. He doesn't know what he is doing, said Anko. What do you mean? Asked Sume. That seal was made for the purpose of feeding off emotions, and if he let it control him like that then he is completely under Orochimaru's control. Nothing short of giving exactly what he wants will keep him in this village, unless of course you seal his chakra. Then the seal can't work because it needs his chakra to move around, said Anko. I see, thanks for telling me, said Tsunade. So he back the mission was complete. How is everyone else doing? Asked Naruto. Well, 3 of you were in near a death state and not one of the 3 was Sasuke. He was unconscious from using too much chakra, said Tsunade. An Anbu came into the room. Hokage-sama, the council has called a meeting and you're needed, said the Anbu. Thanks, you can go. I'll be back as soon as I can. Shizune, go check on the other please, said Tsunade. She and Shizune then walked out of the room. A few minutes later, Sakura walked into the room looking pissed. Sakura-san, are you okay? Asked Hinata. I'm fine, I just need to talk to my teammate. Can we have some privacy please? It won't take long, I just want to thank him, she said. The others walked out the room to wait. Hinata, watch in on them, said Kurenai. What, why would I spy on Naruto's private conversation? Asked Hinata. You spy on him any other time? Hinata blushed deep at that. But this time he might need help since Tsunade used a paralysis jutsu to keep him from moving while his body heal, said Kurenai. Fine, Byakugan, she mumbled, then blushed even redder. Oops, too much chakra. The others just looked at her with a shocked look. With Sakura and Naruto. Sakura-chan, I'm happy you came. I even kept my promise and brought him back like I said I would, he said happily. Naruto, shut up, I asked you to bring him back, not hurt him. You know how this could mess up his future. No, you didn't even think about it, you just did whatever you wanted. Why do you have to be so stupid, not even able to do a simple request right? I can't stand you, I hate you for what you did, she yelled. What, but I kept my promise, he said. She started to beat him badly. Promise, you almost killed him. He is an Uchiha, the last Uchiha, and you almost killed him. How stupid can you get? No wonder your parents didn't want you, she yelled again. Naruto and Hinata had tears forming in their eyes. Hinata ran to the door and tried to open it, but it wouldn't. That bitch locked the door, that's why she wanted to be alone, yelled Hinata. Hinata, what's wrong? Asked Temari. She is in there beating him because he fought the Uchiha and he can't defend himself, she said. She what? Yelled Anko, Kurenai, and Sume at the same time. Hinata move, said Anko, getting ready to kick the door in. Sakura was getting ready to hit him again when someone stopped her hand and threw her through the door. She looked up and saw an Anbu with what looked like a rabbit mask on but couldn't see if was a male or not because every part of their body was covered, not even the hair was showing. Thank Kami, an Anbu stopped her, said Hinata, now banging on the door. Sakura was on the opposite side of the room from the door, so the Anbu opened it. As soon as the door was opened, Hinata flew in the room and attacked Sakura, not even bothering to use Juken, instead preferring to use her tiny fist. The others were shocked except Naruto, who was knocked out by Sakura's hits. Hinata, stop, get off of her, said Kurenai, getting over her shock. Kurenai finally pulled Hinata off Sakura, who quickly got up and ran for the door. Hold it, Pinky, you're lucky Kurenai was here because I would have let her continue to beat you, but know this, if you ever attack Naruto again you will have more than Hinata kicking your ass, said Temari when she grabbed Sakura's arm as she ran past her. Sakura glared at Temari, then shook her off and continued out of the room. Thank you Anbu-san for stopping her, said Hinata. What happened to Sakura? She just asked me to heal her, said Shizune, walking into the room. Hinata beat the shit of her, said Anko with a smile. What, Hinata? But she is the sweetest person ever, what could possibly make her that mad, said Shizune. Attempt to beat her crush to a pulp and find out, said Sume. Really? Wow, how is Naruto though? Said Shizune, walking up to him. Probably knocked out again, but forget that for now. We need to find a way to get Hinata like that all the time. She will be kicked if we could, said Anko. Anko, you will not turn her into a chibi, said Kurenai. Hell, we could turn her into a chibi with a little bit of me, or a chibi Shizune with a little bit of both of us, said Anko with a hunter look in her eyes while looking at Hinata. Anko, stop, now is not the time to try and turn Hinata into a chibi anybody, said Kurenai. What the hell is all the commotion, and what are you talking about turning Hinata into a chibi? Said a pissed-off Tsunade, walking into the room, closing the door behind her. Hinata beat the living shit out of Pinky, said Temari. Pinky? Questioned Tsunade. I caught Sakura-san beating on Naruto-kun during my patrol around the outside the hospital. I threw her off, then opened the door when Hinata-san introduced her small fist to Sakura-san's face, said the Anbu. Sakura did wa? Hinata, you beat up Sakura for hitting Naruto, why? Said Tsunade. Hinata blushed now that she was the center of attention. She also looked like she was going to faint. Hinata, you wouldn't have anything more than a simple crush on my Tuto, would you? Teased Shizune. Hinata turned bright red and fainted. I'll take that as a yes, said Shizune. This is just great, said Tsunade. What's wrong, Hokage-sama? Said Kurenai. The council had a meeting on this mission, more specifically Naruto and Sasuke, she said. What did they say? Asked Sume. Naruto will either be banished or killed and Sasuke will marry the female heir to every clan, said Tsunade. What, who the hell do they think they are that they can just offer my daughter off to that traitorous bastard, said Sume. But listen to this, Hiashi was the first to offer his daughter and said that she will act as head as the Uchiha since they all voted to have his chakra sealed, said Tsunade. How could he offer her to him without even asking? Hinata doesn't even like Sasuke, said Kurenai. Hinata had just come to at that point and looked confused. Why would I like him? She asked. Your father offered to have you married to him, said Temari before anyone else could say something. Hinata looked terrified. No, I don't want to marry him. I hate him. I want to marry Naruto-kun and help him build a clan. She then stopped releasing what she just said and covered her mouth. Tsunade got a thoughtful look on her face when she heard that. Tsunade-sama, whatever you're thinking, stop, said Shizune. Hinata, would you do anything to be with Naruto? She nodded. Naruto is being banished for attacking Sasuke, so if you mean that I could banish you for attacking Sakura, said Tsunade. Wait, what are you planning? I know it's more than just banishing Hinata to be with Naruto, said Shizune. Oh, it is I'm not staying in this village without Naruto, and since the council want to challenge me I'll play their game. It's time for them to know exactly who they are messing with, said Tsunade. I like where this is going, said Sume. Do you want your daughter to marry Sasuke? Tsunade asked. Nope, I would rather her marry the pup, Sume said. Good, let's wake Naruto up, said Tsunade, walking over to him. She started a jutsu that would wake him. When his seal glowed red again, Tsunade jumped back. Hello everyone, said a voice. Who are you? Asked Tamari. Who am I? Who the fuck else was sealed in him by that damn Minato? Damn his father, if it wasn't for him you wouldn't be having this problem, the voice said. Wait, you're Kyuubi, how are you out of the seal? Asked Shizune. Yes, I'm the one and only Kyuubi, and I could have got out of the seal at any time when I woke up, but I decided not to because it would have killed him, said Kyuubi. What are you talking about? Asked Tsunade. How is Kyuubi dead? Didn't the fourth kill him? Asked Hinata. Him again with the sexist shit. It is starting to annoy me, and no, he didn't kill me. As I said, he sealed me and his son, although stupid was noble. But what I want to know is why has no one punished the person for killing his mother? Said Kyuubi. What are you talking about? I thought Kushina died giving birth, said Tsunade. No, she was killed. I'm guessing the old man decided not to investigate and decided to blame that on me also. Anyway, she was killed by a snake. I'm sure you all know who did it now. Also, I have an idea, she finished. What's the idea? Asked Tsunade. If I heard you right, the council kicked him out this worthless village and you are planning to take the Hyuga girl. Why not take her sensei to teach her genjutsu, the snake lady to teach her that taijutsu she used, and the Anbu that saved him from that pink-haired bitch to teach speed and stamina, and also weapons? Said Kyuubi. That's a good idea. What do you all think? Said Tsunade. Naruto's father is the Yondaime Hokage, Hinata finally said. Yay, but don't tell anyone, said Tsunade. So let me get this straight. Hinata started thinking. Naruto was used to hold Kyuubi when he was a baby and had no decision. The adults nodded. Then he was blamed for everything. They nodded. They think he a Kyuubi in human form. They nodded. Naruto is the son of the greatest hero in Konoha's history. They nodded again. Okay, when do I pack? She finished. Whoa, slow down, Hinata. Packing won't be for another 2 days. We have to finish plans and screwing over the village for what they did, said Tsunade. Wait, you just going to up and leave the village, but you're the Hokage, said Tamari. Look, I only came back because of Naruto. Why should I stay? Tsunade asked. Tamari stayed quiet. Okay, we all know Hinata is going to now marry Naruto, but I want to have Hana, my oldest and heir to my clan, marry him also, said Sume. What, why? Said Hinata. I'm going to use the Clan Restoration Act, said Tsunade. Oh, said Hinata, looking sad. Wait, how do you even know me? Kurenai, and the Anbu will go with you, said Anko. You just threatened the entire hospital staff when they refused to help Naruto, said Kyuubi. I know that they was being stupid for not treating them, but all I have is here, said Anko. Anko, we both know you are only here because if you left the council would have had every available ninja Junin and up out trying to kill you, and if I leave you will come with me even if I don't ask you to, and since Hinata is leaving I'm going with her, said Kurenai. Fine, you always have to have it your way, don't you? Said Anko. I have a question. Why did Anko bring Naruto in and not his sensei? I saw him come into the village with Sasuke, asked the rabbit Anbu. The bastard left him for dead, said Sume angrily. Everyone looked shocked at this except Tsunade and Kyuubi. He did what? When I catch that one-eyed pervert I'm going to beat him to a pulp, said Anko. With Kakashi, Kyuubi appeared in a burst of fire right in front of Kakashi, who was still in Sasuke's room. He looked up surprised that someone would enter a hospital room without using the door. He looked at her and noticed that he didn't recognize who she was. Sorry, but you're not supposed to be here, he said. Hataki, you will only speak when I tell you to, she said. I don't know who you think you are, but you will not speak to me like you're my better, he replied. Quiet, pervert, I am your superior, and if you speak out of turn again I will kill you, she said, releasing some of her ki. Kakashi was surprised at how much ki she was leaking. He had to release his own to be able to stand his ground. I will speak when I want. Now what are you doing here? Answer now or I will have to turn you in, he said. You are trying my patience, pervert. Now I'm here about your actions earlier, she said. I don't know what you're talking about, said Kakashi. Tsunade ran into the room at this time. Kakashi, you're still alive, she said, surprised. Why would I not be Hokage-sama? He asked. Shut up, you're still being punished for leaving Naruto out there to die, said Tsunade. Kakashi gulped. Enough, I have had enough of this. Hatake, you have ignored and tried your hardest to keep Naruto from being the ninja he could be since you met him, and I am fed up with your treatment of him, and this last stunt you pulled almost cost him his life, said Kyuubi, getting angry. What are you talking about? If anything, it would do well because it would kill Kyuubi, he said. You think I could be killed so easily by this pathetic excuse of a ninja? You're sadly mistaken, and the only reason I don't kill you for how you treated Naruto is because he don't know you left him for dead, and if I do it would make him depressed. But know this, if you do anything to try and stop his growth into a good ninja, I will kill you, she said. Your threats don't scare me. I don't know who you are, but you will watch your tone when talking to me, he said. Kyuubi just looked at him with a deadpan look. Hatake, if your sensei could only seal me, what chance do you have when you're not even half as strong as he is, she said. What seal you? That means you're... He stopped mid-sentence. The one and only Kyuubi, and you have your one and only warning. Now get out of my sight before I change my mind and kill you where you stand, she said, releasing more ki and her 9 tails. Kakashi, you better be in my office in 1 hour and don't be late or else, Tsunade said. When Kyuubi got in the room, Naruto was woke talking to the people who was in the room. Hinata kept a blush on her face and would glance at him then look away. So why are there so many people in here? I never had a visitor before when I was in the hospital, asked Naruto. Naru-kun, you always had a visitor but only when you was asleep, said Kyuubi. What? Where did you come from? How did you get out? Yelled Naruto. Everyone in the room's sweat dropped by this. Did you forget already? Didn't I just kick you in your mind for thinking that getting out of that cage was beneath me? Said Kyuubi. Oh yeah, I forgot, mumbled Naruto. They sweat dropped again. Naruto, how is it possible to forget something like that? Asked Denko. I don't know, Snake Lady, but I forget things all the time if it doesn't involve a jutsu, he said. You have a one-track mind just like your mother, said Sume. You knew my mother? He asked. Yeah, you act exactly like her, and if something doesn't involve a jutsu the chance of you remembering it is less than 10%, said Sume. Are you calling me stupid? Asked Naruto. Sume just shrugged. I have to go, I got to tell Hana the news that the council decided, she said. What news? Asked Naruto. You are being punished for injuring the Uchiha. You might be kicked out if they have their way, said Kyuubi. What? Why I had to defend myself, said Naruto. I know, but they punishing you because they think you tried to kill him, said Kyuubi. What? I didn't kill him, he attacked me. You was there, you saw the entire thing. I was trying to talk him into coming back until he just attacked. It took all I had just not to get hit by his attacks. He never even gave me the chance to attack, and then he hit me with a Chidori right where my heart is. How can they blame that on me? Said Naruto. Do you really think they would take the word of me, Kyuubi? She asked. What am I going to do? I have no family and I never had any friends. He started to cry. Naruto, shut up, you're sounding stupid, and if I ever hear you saying you had no friends I'll kill you, said Kyuubi. What? Why? He asked. How stupid can you be? Who was here when you woke up? He was about to answer. That was rhetorical. Who was there when you needed someone to talk to? Who went out of there was to heal you every time you did something stupid and got hurt? Who gave you healing cream after you fought her teammate? Who gave you the confidence to fight Neji when you wasn't going to show up? You have friends, you're just too damn dense to see past that pink-haired bitch, said Kyuubi. Hey Sakura-chan aren't that bad. Yay, she has anger problems, but she's still not that bad. He jumped on his feet facing Kyuubi, defended his crush. This got Kyuubi even more mad. In a flash her hand was around his neck and his back against the wall at her eye level. Not that bad, you say? She has went out of her way multiple times to hurt you. She beat you for asking for her help chakra control. She beat you when you asked her on a date when she could have just said no. She beat you every time you mentioned Sasuke name. She beat you just for looking at her too long. Have you ever thought about what would have happened if I didn't heal you after those beatings? No, I'll tell you. You would have been dead a long time ago by your teammate, by that bitch. And you're telling everyone that you love her, that she will see you for who you are? Newsflash Naruto, she hates you and every fiber of you, and I have had it with you always defending her, and this stops now. Listen and listen good, you have been near death twice since you woke up this morning, and you know who put you there? No, those two was Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. That's right, after you came back to the village she came in here and literally beat you into an inch of your life, and if it wasn't for that Anbu coming when she did, you would have been dead. Do you know who repaid her for what she did? Hinata Hyuga. That's right, the only person who have been there when you needed to talk, the only person who actually cared for your well-being, the only person to actually show you what it is like to be loved. And how do you repay her? You shove her to the side just to run back to the one who consistently beat you, she said. Naruto was stunned to speak, so he just looked at his feet. Would you always have something to say? Why not now? Too ashamed of yourself? Good, you need to be, said Kyuubi. Sorry, he mumbled. What? Said Kyuubi. Sorry, he said a little louder. Still can't hear you, Kyuubi said. I said sorry, he yelled. So what are you sorry for? Asked Kyuubi. I'm sorry for everything, he said. Be more specific, she said. You can read my thoughts, you know why, he said. They can't though, tell them they are the ones who need to hear it, not me, she told him. And stop looking at your feet and look at them, she added. I'm sorry for not being smart enough to realize that I had friends. I'm sorry that I pushed you away. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I'm sorry that I defend Sakura when I shouldn't. Please forgive me, he said. Good, now go and ask again for their forgiveness, demanded Kyuubi. Naruto walked over to Anko first. Anko-chan, please forgive me for everything I did to make you feel bad, he said. Buy me dango and you're forgiven, she said. Okay. He went to Tamari next. I know we haven't known each other long, but I still want your forgiveness for not trying more to be your friend, Tamari-chan, he said. Sure, you're forgiven, she said. He went to Kurenai next. Kurenai-sensei, I'm sorry for not showing how grateful I am for knowing you. You have been more a sensei to me than my own sensei, and I'm sorry, he said. Naruto, don't beat yourself up over it, I know you're grateful, she told him. He next walked to Hinata. Hinata-chan, I'm sorry for pushing you away. I'm sorry for not talking to you more, and I'm sorry for not telling you thank you for everything you did to help me, but I just didn't think that the princess of Konoha would want to talk to me more than you already did, he said. Naruto-kun, I'm no princess, and I forgive you for everything, she smiled at him with a deep blush on her face. Now that we have things to discuss, said Kyuubi. Like what? Asked Naruto. You have been lacking in proper training besides the basics that Kurenai, Anko, and the Anbu lady taught you, she said. Oh, he said looking down. Cheer up, brat, you get to be trained by me, Kurenai now, said Anko with a smile. Why do I have the feeling that I won't like this, he said. Naruto was released from the hospital and was walking around to get some ramen. As he walked he thought about everything that happened and more so what Kyuubi told him about Hinata. He couldn't figure for the life of him why Hinata would waste so much time being nice to him. He liked that she was a friend and how she treated him, but he didn't understand it. He walked into the restaurant and ordered his usual 12 bowls of ramen and waited while Ayame went to the kitchen to get his food ready. Kyuubi, who was still out of the seal, walked in behind him and sat next to him. What's on your mind, Naru-kun? She asked. I don't get why Hinata would waste her time being so nice to me when everyone else hates me, he said. Well, you will have to ask her, said Kyuubi. I don't know what to do. The two who I thought as a sister and brother both tried to kill me, yet someone who I barely knows ends up being the best friend I have, he said. Sometimes life works like that, said Kyuubi. This is too difficult, said Naruto. It's just new to you, soon you will understand everything. Oh, someone is coming to talk to you, I'll give you some privacy, said Kyuubi, getting up and walking out the restaurant, and Ino walked up and sat in her seat. Hey Naruto, she said. "Hi Ino, what brings you here?" asked Naruto. "Look Naruto, I know I haven't been the best friend, but you should know that not everyone is like the villagers," said Ino. "I know that, but what does that have to do with anything?" asked Naruto. "Naruto, just know if no one else will, you always have a friend in me, and if you need you can always come to me for help," she said. "Thank you Ino, that means a lot to me," said Naruto. "Just always look at the positives and don't let the negatives bring you down." She then got up and hugged Naruto. "You will always be my friend and thank you for everything you did to complete your mission." She then kissed him on the cheek and walked out. Naruto was stunned by what Ino did. He didn't notice Kyuubi walk back in and sit next to him. "Did something happen?" she asked, snapping Naruto out of his daze. "She kissed me," he said. "I know, I saw. Now you know not everyone is as closed-minded as that pink-haired bitch," said Kyuubi. "What do I do about it? No one has never kissed me like that before besides Ba-chan, and that was more like a motherly kiss," said Naruto. "Want my advice?" asked Kyuubi. "Yes," said Naruto. "I suggest you go to Tsunade and ask her about your family," said Kyuubi. "What does that have to do with anything?" asked Naruto. "It will help you understand why you was picked to have me sealed in you and what to do with Hinata and Ino," said Kyuubi. "Okay, I will," said Naruto. "Naruto, your food is done," said Ayame, bringing him out his ramen. "After I eat I'm starving." He then scarfed down his ramen, but Kyuubi stole one of his bowls and ate it. "Hey, what should I call you? I don't want to keep calling you Kyuubi or Fox," said Naruto. "Call me Q," she said. "Okay, come on Q, let's go see Ba-chan unless you want to do something else. It doesn't matter to me," said Naruto. "No, I'll come with you," said Q. They then walked to the Hokage's tower. "Ba-chan, I need to talk to you," he said, walking into the office. "Gaki, didn't I tell you to knock when you come in here?" Tsunade said, throwing a stapler at him. "Hey, that hurts," yelled Naruto after being hit dead square between the eyes. "That was the point," yelled back Tsunade. "Naruto, you wanted to talk to us?" asked Shizune, stopping their little fight. "Oh yeah, I want to ask about my parents," he said. Tsunade looked surprised, then sighed. "I knew you would be asking soon," she said. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Well, I wasn't going to tell you until you was ready," said Tsunade. "What, I'm more than ready to know who my parents are, and I think I deserve to know," said Naruto. "No, I mean ready as in being able to defend yourself from the enemies that will come for you once they find out who your parents are. But with recent events they will find out soon, so I guess I better tell you now," said Tsunade. Naruto was about to say something but was stopped by Tsunade putting her hand up to stop him. "Naruto, sit down," she said. Naruto and Kyuubi sat down. "Naruto, what do you think about the Yondaime?" she asked. Just then Anko and Ino walked into the office. "Tsunade, I have a request," she said. "Anko, it needs to wait." "Naruto, answer my question," Tsunade said. "While I respect the Yondaime for his strength and his skills, I look up to him as a figure of my goal to be stronger than him, and I hope to take his position as a Hokage," said Naruto. Shizune, Anko, Tsunade, Ino, and Q nodded, all knowing how he looked up to the Yondaime. "Now can you describe how he looked?" Tsunade asked. "Of course, he had blonde spiky hair, blue eyes, and was very energetic," said Naruto. "Good. Ino, can you describe Naruto for me?" asked Tsunade. Ino shrugged. "Sure. Blonde spiky hair, blue eyes. He is the Yondaime's son," said Ino after looking at him and the picture of the Yondaime. Tsunade nodded. Naruto looked even more confused. "Huh?" he asked. "Naruto, Minato Namikaze the Yondaime is your father, and Kushina Uzumaki is your mother, both are dead," said Tsunade. "What, I'm the son of the Yondaime?" he asked. "Yes, I wanted to wait until you can defend yourself from his enemies to tell you," said Tsunade. "So why didn't the old man tell me, or at least the people of the village? They would have treated me better," said Naruto. "Naruto, you have to think about it for a minute. You know who the biggest spoiled brat, right?" asked Anko. "Yes, Sasuke. Why?" asked Naruto. Well, if you was just given anything you wanted, you would have been just like him, taking everything for granted and not giving a damn about people who care for you. And personally, I'm glad you wasn't told until now, said Anko. What, how do you know I would have turned out like that? Yelled Naruto. You hold what little friends you have dear, don't you? Asked Tsunade. Of course I do, Ba-chan. I would do anything to keep them safe, said Naruto. Now what would you have done if people only wanted to be your friends because you was the son of the Yondaime? Asked Tsunade. I probably would have ignored them and told them to stay away from me, said Naruto. Just like the Uchiha bastard, said Kyuubi. I guess you're right, but at least the old man could have done more to help me, said Naruto. You're right, he could have, and why didn't he? I don't know, but it was the second biggest mistake he ever made and I'm going to try to correct it. Now Ino, how can I help you? Said Tsunade. I want permission to learn medics at the hospital, said Ino. Sure, let me write you a note to get you a teacher from the medic corps, said Tsunade, writing her a note and sending her to the hospital. Now you said the second biggest, then what was the biggest? Asked Naruto. Not killing Orochimaru the first time he was caught doing experiments on civilians and shinobis, said Tsunade. Now Naruto-kun, we have some bad news for you, said Shizune. What's that? No one died from the mission, did they? Asked Naruto. Besides, the people from Sound know this involves you, said Shizune. What, me? He asked. Yes, you're banished, said Tsunade. What, banished? How could you do this to me, Ba-chan? I thought you liked me. What have I done to you? He yelled at her. Naruto, it wasn't me. I tried everything I could to stop it, but the council went to the daimyo and got his approval to have you banished or executed. It was my choice on which one, Tsunade said. Sorry, but why? I did everything I was ever told, he said. I know, Naruto, but they won't get away with this. I want you to get all your stuff packed. The council have granted you permission to take one scroll with you, so use it well. I had Jiraiya send me one of his large storage scrolls for you, Tsunade said. Thank you, Ba-chan, he whispered. Don't mention it, but remember you have 2 days to be gone. I want you to be ready tomorrow morning to leave. Now take this scroll and get packed, said Tsunade. Come on, Naruto, let's go get packed, said Kyuubi. Oh Naruto, you have my permission to pull one last prank on anyone but those from the Yamanaka, Nara, Akamichi, and Aburame, said Tsunade with a wink. Right, Kasen, he said, then ran out the office. Tsunade, Anko, and Shizune looked at where he was just standing in surprise, wondering if they heard him correct. Did he just call me mother? Asked Tsunade. I think so, said Shizune. He always thought of you as a mother since he met you. He thought that since you was so protective of him, you must see him as a son. And he needed a mother, and you was the perfect one in his opinion. You should see how much respect he has for you. He respects you more than the Yondaime. Since you have been in his life, he has been able to remove some of the negative effect that this village had on his life slowly. His mind is no longer a dirty, wet, dark sewer. Although it's still a wet sewer, it's cleaner and has light, and if you keep having such a positive influence on him, pretty soon his mind might become a library full of jutsus he knows or something, said Kyuubi. All this because of me, whispered Tsunade. Yes, believe it or not, even Sarutobi didn't have this much of an effect on him in the 12 years he has known him, said Kyuubi. Naruto, my son, I like the sound of that, smiled Tsunade. He will be happy to hear. He also thinks very highly of you, Shizune, and I would even say he thinks of you in a higher light than Kurenai or Anko, and that's pretty damn good considering every time he is hurting he always went to one of them, said Kyuubi. Well, he is my Otuto now and has been since I met him, said Shizune. Well, while I enjoyed talking to you all, I better catch up with Naruto. I have something to set up for pranks and a few places to raid since the scroll is way too big for the stuff he owns, said Kyuubi, walking out the door. Well, looks like we all made an impact on the Gaki, but none as significant as Tsunade, said Anko. Well, Anko, what did you need? I need to start revenge on what the council did to my son, said Tsunade. First, I want in. Second, I want to be promoted to Junin. I think I have paid my dues for what Orochimaru did, and if anything, I shouldn't be held back for that anyway. It was the third's fault he got as far as he did. And lastly, I want the actual reason I came here was because I wanted to talk to you about teaching Hinata my style. Since I can't take her on as an apprentice, I think I should at least be able to teach her my style and let her sign the snake contract, said Anko. Okay, you in on our revenge. Be ready tomorrow. You will escort Naruto out of the village. You're granted the rank Junin, as I think you should have been had it. I don't know why Sensei didn't give it to you when he gave it to Kurenai. And as for teaching Hinata your style, if she wants to learn it, you have my permission, said Tsunade. Thank you, said Anko. No thank you, said Tsunade. For what? Asked Anko. For the idea. I'm going to make Hinata my apprentice. Can you tell her to come to my office as soon as possible? Shizune, I need you to go to the Sarutobi compound and tell Asuma and his nephew to come to the office, said Tsunade. Tsunade started going through her drawers and cabinets in the office until she found a cabinet full with things from Minato and Kushina for Naruto. She shook her head and willed her anger at her sensei away. She couldn't understand how he could just sit back and watch all this happen and not do anything to stop it. She smiled as she knew it all would end soon and Naruto would have a better life. She pulled everything out and set it on her desk and started to seal it until a knock came on the door. Come in, she said. You wanted to see me, Hokage-sama, stuttered Hinata. Ah yes, thank you for being prompt, Hinata, but I have something to ask you. How would you like to be a medic nin? She asked. I can't, stuttered Hinata. Don't lie, Hinata. Tsunade threw a small jar to her. I got that from Naruto when he came with Jiraiya to bring me back. When he told me you made it, I was highly impressed, but looking at your record I don't see anything that would suggest you have medic training, said Tsunade. I don't. Hyugas are not supposed to be medics. We are meant to be combat nins, not support nins, and I'm started to have more confidence in my abilities to be a combat nin, stuttered the little Hyuga. I'm not saying you won't be a combat nin. Anko did talk with you about wanting to teach you her style, right? Asked Tsunade. Yes, said Hinata. Well, she is a combat and assassin nin. If you learn her style and medics, you will be a combat nin who can also support your team when you needs to, said Hinata. Who would want to teach the failure of the Hyuga clan? Asked Hinata. Don't worry about that, you will be my apprentice, said Tsunade. Hinata stared unbelieving at her. Please tell me this is not a joke to get my hopes up just to bring me back down and tell me how much a failure I am, stuttered Hinata with tears in her eyes, expecting the worst. Tsunade's smile faltered. Those bastards have made her afraid to take risks when they would help her greatly. Don't worry, Hinata, this is no joke. If you want, you will become my second apprentice and also study under Anko until you know everything she can teach you, said Tsunade. Hinata looked at Tsunade, then jumped up and down in excitement. She then jumped over the desk and tackled Tsunade in a hug, making her fall back on her chair. This is the best news ever. I will do everything to make you proud of me, said Hinata. Don't worry, Hinata, I know you will work hard. All that I ask is to believe in yourself. Don't be afraid of risks, and work on not stuttering, said Tsunade. Hi, I will work on it, said Hinata with a little stutter. Good, now go get packed, we are leaving tomorrow, said Tsunade. What tomorrow? I thought you said we had 2 days, asked Hinata. Yes, I'm not staying in a village that banished my son more than I have to, said Tsunade. Son? Asked Hinata. He is like a son to me and he called me Kasen without even thinking about it, said Tsunade. I see, well, I'm going to pack, said Hinata. Here is a scroll pack, whatever you can fit in it. Remember, you might be away for a while, so you will need scrolls to help you with your Juken style, so make sure you pack plenty of those scrolls, said Tsunade. Hi, I'll be ready tomorrow. She then ran out of the office to leave Tsunade to do what she was doing. Asuma and nephew came in. Hokage-sama, you wanted to see us? Asked Asuma. Yes, I want you to sign the monkey contract, said Tsunade. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, and Konohamaru does not have the chakra capacity to sign it, said Asuma. I wasn't requesting, I was telling you both to sign it now, said Tsunade. Asuma sighed and signed the scroll with Konohamaru. Good, now Asuma, summon the highest monkey you can, Tsunade commanded. Asuma summoned a monkey. So you finally signed the contract? Asked the monkey. Didn't have a choice and I would have signed it anyway, said Asuma. Excuse me, can you have King Enma come talk to me as soon as possible? Tsunade asked the monkey. Sure. The monkey then disappeared and King Enma was in his spot. How can I help you, Tsunade? Asked the monkey. I want to ask you if someone who is not in the Sarutobi family can sign the contract, she said. That depends, said the Monkey King. Tsunade-sama, you're not talking about Naruto, are you? Asked Asuma. How did you know? Asked Tsunade. Is the rumor true? Asked Asuma. Sadly it is. Naruto is being banished by the council, said Tsunade. What, they can't do that to Nissan? Yelled Konohamaru. Unfortunately they can this time, Konohamaru, since they have the daimyo backing them on this, said Tsunade. I'll think about it, Tsunade. Is this all you wanted? Asked Enma. Yes, thank you for hearing me out, Tsunade said. No thanks are necessary. What the council are doing is wrong. But don't let them get away with this, and you must punish the Uchiha or I won't even consider it, said Enma. I was going to do that anyway, said Tsunade. Good, now Asuma, you will take your father's position as the head of the contract, and when Konohamaru is old enough you will be able to pass it down to him, said Enma. Okay, said Asuma. Enma then disappeared. Should I get you a copy of father's scrolls from the house? He asked. That would be most helpful, said Tsunade. Good day. Then Asuma and Konohamaru left. Shizune walked in the office. I hope you don't mind that I took the liberty of putting everything in the Namikaze compound inside a few scrolls and have them with me now, she said. Good thinking, Shizune. I need you to do the same thing at the Senji compound while I go to the Hokage library, said Tsunade. Naruto and Kyuubi was walking through the village since they had already packed the things from Naruto's apartment that they thought that Naruto would need. Kyuubi had managed to convince Naruto that he should not take his orange clothes but get some new ones that he wasn't so noticeable. He argued that he didn't have any money and no one here besides Tenten's shop would sell anything to him anyway. She told him they would worry about that later tonight. So here they was walking looking for something to take up the rest of the day since it was too early to set up the pranks they had planned. Naruto Nissan, they heard. Hey guys, Naruto said, turning around and seeing Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon running up to them. Naruto Nissan, why do you have to leave? Asked Moegi. I can't do anything to stop this from happening, but while I'm gone I want you three to promise you will train hard, said Naruto. We promise, they all said. I have an idea, said Q. What's that, Q? Asked Naruto. Let's prank everyone who is not your friend, she said. Sure, but won't they try and execute me if they know it's me? Asked Naruto. Then we will disguise ourselves so no one knows who we are, said Q. Let's do it, said Konohamaru. Okay. They all then followed Q, who went back to Naruto's apartment and started to dress them so they would look like a superhero from the mangas that Naruto read. They each had something covering their heads and only their eyes was visible, and they all had capes over their body costume. Ready? Q asked. They all nodded. Then she undid a scroll and gave them a bag to tie around their waist which had different color paint in it. They ran out of the apartment and made sure that no one was around, then split up and started to put paint on everything. Naruto ran around painting giant letters on everything that he ran past. He stopped in front of the Hokage's tower and looked at the Junin that was coming out. A purpled hair Anbu was standing on the building across from the tower with her partner. As they looked down wondering what would happen. Hey, what are you supposed to be doing? Asked the Junin. Naruto didn't say anything. He just slowly and dramatically pulled out his paintbrush, then swiftly and quickly painted a giant "N" on the Junin shirt and threw a paint-filled balloon at his face. The ANBUs who was watched burst out laughing. We should follow him to see what else he will do, laughed the purple-haired rabbit-masked Anbu. You're right, that was hilarious, laughed the brown-haired tiger Anbu. So they then followed Naruto around from the roofs, laughing their heads off. Naruto ran towards the center of Konoha, painting every building he came across. He stopped in front of the Yamanaka flower shop just as Ino was walking out. He had his paintbrush ready but was conflicted on whether to paint the building or not. He knew Ino worked there and didn't want her to get in trouble. He looked Ino in the eyes, who was staring at him, then ran off painting the building next to hers, leaving her building unpainted. Ino blinked at the figure. Was that Naruto? She whispered to herself. 3 hours later, the two ANBUs walked into the Hokage's office, laughing their asses off. Rabbit, Tiger, what is going on? Asked Tsunade. Naruto, answered Rabbit. What do you mean? Asked Tsunade. Look out the window. He and a few others painted everything and everyone who Naruto didn't consider a friend, said Tiger. Tsunade looked out the window and couldn't hide her smile. Wow, he must have got word of his banishment, said Tsunade. Rabbit gasped. How could they banish him? Don't they see he is only a child who needs a mother's love, she said. I don't see the problem. If he did something that warrants banishment, then why try and defend him, said Tiger. Maybe he didn't. Have you thought of that, Tiger? Yelled Rabbit. Why are you so upset about it? Asked Tiger. I never saw you go out of your way to help him, he finished. That's because you don't like him and would have assigned me to a squad on the other side of the village if you saw me do it, said Rabbit. Are you saying you went against my orders and consistently stopped doing your missions to help him? Asked Tiger. I never stopped my missions, but I did have a shadow clone to follow and protect him whenever he was by himself and wasn't with Anko or Kurenai, said Rabbit. I should have you punished for disobeying my orders, said Tiger. What order? You only told me not to stop my missions to help him, which I didn't, and if it wasn't for the council or you, I would have adopted him a long time ago, said Rabbit. I don't care how you do it, you still disobeyed my order, said Tiger. Why do you hate him anyway? He is just a kid trying to be a ninja, asked Rabbit. Both of you shut up, I don't want to hear this right now, and Tiger, you are dismissed. Rabbit, you stay, said Tsunade. Hi, they both said. Tiger then left, leaving Rabbit and Tsunade. What do you need me to do, Hokage-sama? She asked. I want to know what exactly you mean by you would have adopted him if you wasn't stopped, Tsunade asked. I may not have put the best effort forward, but with both Anko and Kurenai I didn't want to interfere with what they was doing to protect him. But I would occasionally slip into his apartment and refill it with food, clean it, make sure his clothes was the right size for his growing body, give him money and scrolls to learn from. I knew Anko taught him to read, so I left him things that he should have learned at the academy and small training scrolls that would help him learn chakra control and taijutsu and anything else I could do for him, said Rabbit. I see, said Tsunade. Also, I tried to adopt him a month after he was born, but the council blocked it, saying that having a child to take care of would hinder my career as a newly appointed Junin, she said. And how did Tiger stop you? Asked Tsunade. I tried to adopt him the year after he joined the academy because I saw how the teachers was treating him, but Tiger said if I adopted him I wouldn't have enough money to take care of him and it would strain our relationship, said Rabbit. Really, what happened? Asked Tsunade. Well, I was hurt that he would do that, but I weighed the options and painfully decided I could help Naruto from the shadows and still be with Tiger, so I decided not to adopt him and stay with Tiger, even though I still helped him as much as I can. I even started to have a shadow clone follow him everywhere he went, and if someone tried to hurt him the shadow clone would make itself known and protect him. I even had the clone help Naruto with his taijutsu, said Rabbit. I see. Well, Naruto is being banished, he is leaving tomorrow, and he already looks at me as a motherly figure, so what will you do? Asked Tsunade. Well, I'm only 12 years older than him, I'm not old enough to be a mother to him. I always saw him as a brother, said Rabbit. So I'm guessing you want stand and let him be banished? Asked Tsunade. I already told you I will always protect him even if I have to do it outside of this village, said Rabbit. Good, I want you to follow him in the shadows until I meet him. I have a few things to take care of in the village before me and my apprentices leave, said Tsunade. Okay, when do he leave? Asked Rabbit. Tomorrow morning. Here is a storage scroll, it's double the size of the Anbu storage scroll. Make sure you bring all the stuff you're going to need because we are not coming back, said Tsunade. I'll be waiting for him outside the gate, said Rabbit. Rabbit, give me your mask, you're not going to need it anymore, I'm retiring you from the Anbu, said Tsunade. She took off her mask and handed it over. I'm going to miss that mask. It helped a lot when I didn't want to listen to Tiger. I was able to let my eyes wander without being caught, she said. Don't worry Yugo, you won't have to listen to his boring stories about being the best swordsman in Konoha, said Tsunade. That's good, but I am sad at how he treats Naruto-kun, said Yugo. I know you would have been good for him, but he let his stupidness about Naruto ruin his judgment and made him jealous of losing you to Naruto, said Tsunade. Yugo laughed. It's not like I was going to marry Naruto-kun, said Yugo. Yeah, I know, said Tsunade. Or not yet anyway, since I get to actually spend time with him now. If you want, I would be willing to marry him, said Yugo. Let's not corrupt my son until he is at least Junin level, said Tsunade. I'm going to get packed. I have some things to get from the Anbu HQ that will help us on our departure. I'll make sure I grab extra just in case we have more followers who want to join us, said Yugo. Good idea, because eventually Ino will join us, maybe not now but in a few months she will leave Konoha and join us, said Tsunade as Yugo left. Naruto and Q was sitting in his living room of his apartment. Naruto was thinking about what happened with Ino. Q, can I ask you something? He said. Sure Naru-kun, you can always ask me anything, said Q. Why is it when I think of Ino or Hinata I get this weird feelings they're different than before, like if something happened to them I would be losing a part of me, asked Naruto. You're in love with them, said Q. What, how can I be in love with them? Ain't it wrong to love two girls this much? Asked Naruto. No Naruto, let me tell you something. You have Mayuko running through your system and it makes your feelings for people stronger. And when you find someone who you like more than usual, your feelings for them will be confused until you can figure it out. But I can tell you now from the way you are thinking about the two of them that you are in love, said Q. So I'm in love, what do I do? Asked Naruto. Don't ask me, I'm not a human, remember. I don't have human emotions, but I do know that Mayuko is influencing who you fall in love with, as if it's approving or disapproving of the girl. And if you find someone who Mayuko approves of, you should do everything you can to tell that person how you feel, because more times than not they will love you back, said Q. So it's like a guide in the right direction? Asked Naruto. Exactly, but it's late and all the stores are closed now. Make a few shadow clones and we will send them to start the pranks while me and you go shopping, said Q. Shopping? All the stores are closed, how are we going to get in them? Asked Naruto. Leave that to me. Let's go, we only have a few hours before the village alarm system activate and make it almost impossible for you to even leave your apartment without Anbu being on your tail, said Q. Okay, I'm ready, what do I need? Asked Naruto. Just bring all the small storage scrolls you have and the scroll Tsunade gave you. We are going to put the stuff we get in the small scrolls before we put them into the large scroll, said Q. They jumped out the window and headed towards the closest store that sold shinobi clothes. Wait Q, this store is owned by Tenten father, said Naruto. Okay, said Q. Let's not go in there because Tenten was nice to me and she was helpful when I asked her to train with me, said Naruto. Fine, we will go to the second largest shinobi store, the one that only ANBUs are allowed in, said Q. Then went across the village and Q checked to make sure that no one was in the store or around so they could get in. After confirming the coast was clear, she grabbed Naruto and used a demonic jutsu to get inside the store. They walked around looking at the different weapons and clothes. Q, what should we get? Asked Naruto. First, we both need new clothes. Pick a color that's not orange, she told him. What about the colors that my mother and father wore? He asked. From what I was told, that's a good choice. Your mother wore red and your father wore white, she said. So that's where I got orange from. It's the middle of my parents' colors, said Naruto. That could work, but we have to make the orange darker. You can get a month worth of outfits in dark orange, said Q. So I can still wear orange? Naruto asked. As long as it's not noticeable you can, she answered. Naruto pulled up two shirts, one is dark orange almost dark red and the other was light orange almost white. How about these two shades of orange? He asked. Those are fine, they're not too bright, she said. Okay, I'll get 15 outfits in each color, said Naruto. Okay, I'll be right back, I'm going to the kunoichis section, said Q. Q walked away and was looking at the other color of clothes and saw something in a lavender color which reminded her of Hinata. She then got a few outfits in different shades lavender for Hinata. She then continued to get herself some clothes in black and red. She was walking past the weapons, picking up some kunais, shurikens, and senbons. She was looking at the other weapons and saw the katanas and thought that they was too normal to other ninjas and started to look for something else that would match Naruto's personality and stand out from all other weapons. She then walked past two katana handles, basically a lightsaber from Star Wars. She looked at them and read the directions of them. This weapon is called elementals. It allows the user to channel their chakra through it and create any weapon they want, and as long as they have the chakra to support the weapon, it is indestructible. Not normally used because of the user having to master the weapon they chose to use, but when used it is almost impossible to defend because the user can change the weapon at any moment. She looked at both of them, then picked them up and put them in the weapon scroll. Q, I'm done, I have enough clothes to last for a full month. I also have a pair of sandals like Arrow Senin, and a black Anbu undercover robe, he said. Really, go grab a few more of those robes, we might need them, she said. Naruto did as told and they was about to leave when Naruto stopped her. Look at that, it looks exactly like that cloak that my father wore, said Naruto. Kyuubi looked at it. It does, don't it? You should take it, she said. Right. Naruto walked up to the cloak and grabbed it and put it on. It's too big, he said. No, Naruto, clothes like that you have to channel chakra to make it fit you, she said. He did as told and the size shrank so it fit around him as if made for him. They have a lavender one. I'm going to give it to Hinata as a thank you and a sorry for everything, he said. That's a good idea, said Q. He grabbed the cloak then walked over to Q. What next? He asked. To the shinobi library, she said. Cool, but don't they have cameras there? Asked Naruto. They don't have cameras in the library. Who would think to steal from a library, Naruto? Asked Q. I guess you right, said Naruto as they jumped across the village to the library. They reached the library and Naruto was able to squeeze through the small window that was left open above the back door, then opened the door for Kyuubi. The scrolls in here should be sorted by element and rank. Take a scroll and put a copy of every scroll in it, but only keep like elements in each scroll, she told him. Later that day, Q shook Naruto to wake him up since they would be leaving soon. He went to shower and put on his regular orange clothes since Q told him he couldn't wear his new stuff until they was out of the village. Hey Q, how are we going to give Hinata her gift? Asked Naruto. Don't worry, we will give it to her later, Q answered. You sure we will be able to? He asked. Trust me, Naruto, she said. Okay. Hey, I'm hungry. He walked into the kitchen. Q, was you able to catch the person who keeps putting food and money in my apartment when I was asleep? He asked. No, Naruto, we was not here when it happened, she said. Well, I wish I knew who it was so I could thank them for all the times they have helped me when I didn't have any food, he said. I have a feeling you will be able to see this person soon, said Q. I also wish I could see Rabbit-chan before I had to leave. I like her, said Naruto. You don't even know her. How can you know you truly like her? Asked Q. Because she went out of her way to help me. She helped with my training when Kurenai or Anko couldn't. She was there to talk to me when no one else would. And she stopped a lot of people from bullying on me, said Naruto. Maybe you will see her, said Q. I hope so, said Naruto. An hour later, Kyuubi left and was to meet up with Naruto a few miles away from Konoha with the large scroll. They sealed everything they took sealed in it. Naruto was at the gate he was supposed to meet Tsunade at. There with her was Shizune, Kurenai, Sume, Hana, and Anko. He walked up to them trying not to look too sad. Morning everyone, he said. I'm going to miss you, pup, said Sume. Don't worry, Nissan, we will not let you travel by yourself for long. Trust your owness and I will join you real soon, said Shizune, hugging him. I wish I could stay with you, he told Shizune while he hugged her back. Naruto, you're like a brother to me also, and no, I will not let this go without doing something about it, said Kurenai, hugging him. Thank you for everything Kurenai-Onesan, he said. Naruto, Hana said, getting down to his level. Know that I'm always here for you and I will not be marring that Uchiha. Soon when I get everything settled out with figuring if I want to become clan head or not I will let you know. And so you know I will be in line to marry you when you're ready. She told him in his ear so no one can hear. I love you Naru-kun. She then kissed him. Naruto smiled. Thank you Hana-chan, I would be honored to marry someone as strong and beautiful as you, he said back into her ear. Uzumaki Naruto, Tsunade said, trying to hide her pain of having to do this. You are hereby banished from Konoha until the Hokage and council deem you are fit come back. Please remove your Hatai 8, she said. Naruto held back a tear and removed his Hatai 8 and gave it to her. She bent down to his level. Don't worry son, I will be joining you soon, she whispered, then took the Hatai 8. By Kasen, he whispered. Anko, you are to escort Uzumaki Naruto out of Fire Country, Tsunade said. Right, let's go Gaki, she said. Okay, Naruto then followed Anko out of the village. He looked back and saw Tsunade wipe her hand across her eyes. He turned and tried not to cry. Chin up Gaki, don't let those old bastards get to you, said Anko. But they took everything away from me just because they don't like me. Took me from my cousin who I only had for a few days, he said. Look Naruto, not everyone agrees with what the council decided, but we can't just stand up and go against them, said Anko. That's the same thing Ino said, replied Naruto. She was right Naruto, you know I won't do anything to hurt you. You're like a brother to me. Maybe one day we will be more, said Anko. What do you mean, asked Naruto. We will approach that bridge in a few years when you're older, but no, I'm not here to escort you, I'm your protection for now, said Anko. Huh, asked Naruto. Look, you have the Kyuubi sealed in you and I am Orochimaru's ex-student. If they are willing to banish you for something that happened when you was born, what do you think they will do to me when Orochimaru attacks the village again, said Anko. I guess they will blame it on you since I'm not there, said Naruto. Exactly, that's why I took this chance to leave with you, so at least we will have each other's company, said Anko. You're right, I'm looking at this the wrong way. This way I actually have someone who wants to train me and help me when I need it, said Naruto. Exactly, said Anko. They walked a few more miles, not noticing Yugo, who was following them from the shadows. As they walked, they was stopped by Itachi and Kisame. Anko cursed under her breath. You two wouldn't let us walk past and act like you didn't see us, would you? She asked. Anko, we have no problem with you, step aside and let us take Naruto, said Itachi. I'm sorry, I can't do that, she said. Can I kill her, said Kisame. Knock yourself out, said Itachi. That would do us a great favor if he knocked himself out, said Naruto. Shut it brat, you're coming with us once I handle your guard, said Kisame as he attacked Anko. She pulled out a kunai and blocked his Samahata. Itachi watched them for a while, then turned towards Naruto and started to walk towards him. Yugo dropped down in front of Naruto. Hold it Itachi, she said. Who are you? Asked Itachi. That don't matter if you want Naruto, you're going through me, she said. Itachi looked and assessed the situation. Kisame was in a dead-even battle with Anko and he noticed someone coming up on them fast and they seemed powerful. Kisame, we are leaving, he said. What, I'm having so much fun, Kisame replied. Kisame, if this continues she will kill you, and with this newcomer and someone powerful is advancing on us as we speak, we have no chance of winning, Itachi said. Fine, we will finish this another day Anko, Kisame said. Sorry, you're not my type, so there won't be a second date, Anko said. Why you, said Kisame. Leave it alone, she's being sarcastic. Kisame, let's go, said Itachi, then he vanished from sight followed by Kisame. Naruto, are you okay? Asked Anko, walking over and bending down next to him. Yes, I'm fine thanks to her, Naruto said. Who are you? He asked her. Don't worry Naruto, I wouldn't expect you to know me, but I'm Rabbit. I used to look after you and train with you until Anko and Kurenai started to do it, said Yugo. That was you? He asked. Yes, I'm also the one who cleaned your apartment, put food in it, and left you with money, she said. You have no idea how much that helped me. I would have died of hunger without that, he said. No need to thank me, but we need to get going, she said. They started walking and walked into Q, who was headed towards them. Q, guess what rabbit was Yugo, and she is the one who left me food and money, Naruto said. Really told you that you would meet her soon. But are you okay, Naruto? I sensed Itachi and his flunky and came as fast as I could without using my demonic chakra to draw attention to myself, she said. I'm fine thanks to Anko and Yugo. They scared them away and they must have sensed you and didn't know who it was, said Naruto. That's good, but you need to get out of those horrid clothes here. She went into her pocket and pulled out the scroll and summoned the clothes scroll and gave it to Naruto. Go behind that tree and change, she told him. He took the scroll and went behind the tree. You got him to change his outfit? Asked Anko. Well, I told him he would be respected more if he didn't wear such a bright color, Q said. Well, everyone wants to be respected, said Yugo. Naruto came out from the tree. He changed behind wearing his light orange clothes with his cloak over top and his wooden sandals on his feet. So how'd I look? He asked. I must say, Naruto, you look even more like your father now, said Q. You're so handsome, said Yugo. I would date you, said Anko. Yugo looked at her. What, I would, and you can't say you wouldn't if he was 2 or 3 years older, said Anko. Yugo sighed. I try not to think of that right now since he is not old enough right now, she said. I guess anyway, let's go, we need to get to the meet-up spot, said Anko. Right, said Yugo. By midday, Anko and Yugo had led them to a small hut that was a few hours, even for a ninja, away from Konoha and went inside. Yugo lit a fire on the fireplace while she sent Naruto to get more firewood. Anko sat back and started to go through her scroll for something to do. She brought out some cards and she, Q, and Yugo started playing poker. When Naruto came back in, he sat down in the only other seat at the table and asked how to play. After teaching him how to play, he never lost. Eventually Anko, Yugo, and Q was sitting in their chairs with only their panties on since they decided to play strip poker to make it more fun. Tsunade, Shizune, Hinata, and Kurenai walked into the hut and saw Q, Yugo, and Anko standing over Naruto, who was passed out from the loss of blood. Hinata eeped and turned red, then fainted. Anko, Yugo, and Q turned and saw the others. Hello, Naruto fainted of blood loss, said Q. I can see that. Why are you 3? Asked Tsunade. The Gaki is a poker genius. He hasn't lost besides the first game, while we all lost, and since we was playing strip poker, here we are, said Anko. Well, can you get dressed? It wouldn't do for my apprentice to faint again because you're, said Tsunade. Right, they all got dressed. When they finished, Naruto finally came to. What happened? He asked. You fainted, said Yugo. Naruto blushed. Oh right, he said. What are you all doing here? He asked, seeing Tsunade and her group. You didn't think I would let my son travel the world without me, did you? Asked Tsunade. I'm here because you're my ode tuto, said Shizune. Same for me, said Kurenai. Hinata is my apprentice also. You're now Jiraiya's official apprentice and don't have to worry about being banished. I made a few laws to aid you, although you still can't go to Konoha. They can't send anyone to kill you, Tsunade said. Hinata finally woke up. Ow, my head hurt, she said, rubbing the spot she hit when she fell back. Hinata, finally we all need to talk, said Tsunade. First I have something for Hinata, Naruto said, getting the scroll. He put it in and gave it to her. This is my way of thanking you for everything and saying I'm sorry, he said. Hinata looked at him, noticing his different clothes. Naruto-kun, you look handsome, she said with a stutter. Hinata, what did I tell you about that? Said Tsunade. Sorry, I'm working on it, she said. That's all I ask, but Naruto, you do look nice. Why the change? Asked Tsunade. Q said I should change my way of carrying myself if I want to get respected, and it starts with wearing respectable clothes, and I got this cloak because it looks like the one my father wears, he said. Naruto, I'm proud that you are trying to better yourself and looking at the positives, said Shizune. Ino told me I should look at the positives instead of the negatives and I will have better results, he admitted. She was right, Naruto. Now Hinata, what did he get you? Asked Kurenai. Hinata opened the scroll and put a little chakra into it to get the gift. She pulled out a lavender cloak like Naruto's and another scroll that was labeled, "Clothes for Hinata." "Naruto-kun, thanks so much," she said, hugging him. She pulled back and put the cloak on. "Push your chakra into the cloak," Q said. The cloak then fitted her as if made for her. "Naruto, that was a great gift," said Kurenai. "Now let's go over what everyone have," said Tsunade. "I'll go first," said Anko. "I have a copy of all the elemental scrolls that was available at the Junin library, and everything I own," she said. "Me and Naruto have a month's worth of clothes each. We also got Hinata a month's worth of clothes that we thought she would like, a few hundred kunais, shurikens, and senbons. We also raided the shinobi library," said Q. "You raided the library, and where did you get the weapons from?" asked Tsunade. "The Anbu store, since he didn't want to raid the store owned by Tenten's family," said Q. "I knew scheduling myself to watch the store last night was a good idea," said Yugo. "Also I have an Anbu mask for everyone here and a few extra just in case, so when we go on missions and don't want anyone to see our face we can be covered. I also have a copy of all the scrolls from the Anbu library, and everything I own," Yugo said. "I have everything I own. I also have the scrolls from the Uchiha compound," said Kurenai. "How did you get in there?" asked Shizune. "Well, it wasn't hard. All I did was get Sasuke's permission to get him a few scrolls so he can start to train even though he was still in the hospital," said Kurenai. "You never went back to see him, did you?" asked Anko. "Nope, didn't need to. I got what I needed from him and that was his consent to enter the Uchiha compound," Kurenai said. "Well, I have every scroll from the Namikaze and Senji compound plus everything I own," said Shizune. "I have a copy of every scroll from the Sarutobi compound, Curiosity of Konohamaru and Asuma. I also have a copy of every scroll from the Hokage's library and everything I own," said Tsunade. "Well, I have a copy of the scrolls from the Hyuga main family library, although they all are on the Jukin and Hyuga attacks. I also have a few pictures, and all my mother's belongings. I don't know if it's useful, but I also was able to get this box that was hidden under my father's desk in his office. It has the name Kushina on it, but I didn't know who that was. But I took it because it was in my mother's writing," Hinata said. "Let me see that box." Hinata Kushina is Naruto's mother. "Why would Hiyashi have something with her name on it?" said Tsunade, taking the box from Hinata and opening it. There was a letter in it, so she read it out loud. "Hana, if you're reading this, then something happened during my labor and I didn't make it. I want you to take care of my son. I know your husband don't like me, but he is friends with Minato, and if he is doing what I think he is going to do to stop Kyuubi, then we both will end up dead, and you're the only one in the village I trust to take care of him. I know the third will try and take care of him, but he has a history of making the wrong decisions or letting his council sway his decisions, and I don't want Naruto's fate to be in their hands. In this box is a scroll to all my jutsus that I own. It can only be opened by my son, so even if the council finds it, they can't do anything. I know it might be soon, but I want you to teach Naruto my jutsus as soon as he starts the academy, so when he become a genin he will have a good library of jutsus memorized. Please take good care of my son Naruto. Uzumaki Namikaze, your friend Kushina." She looked up at Naruto and he was crying silently. "Naruto, you can start learning these jutsus whenever you want," she said. "Okay, Kasen," he stuttered. "Let's get off this subject, it's hard for Naruto," said Shizune, as the newly appointed Chunin was crying. "Anything else in the box?" asked Shizune. "Yay, a few pictures," said Tsunade. She pulled out the first one, which had Hana standing in an open field with Hinata on her shoulders. The second had Kushina, Minato, and Naruto in the hospital room. She gave the pictures to the two. "All that's left are 2 jutsu scrolls, one from Kushina and one from Hana," said Tsunade. "I think we should get moving since it would get their minds off what they were just told," said Q. "Yes, you're right," said Tsunade. "Here are your masks," said Yugo, pulling out 7 masks. Hinata grabbed a cat, Naruto grabbed a toad, Q grabbed a fox, Shizune grabbed a sparrow, Tsunade grabbed a slug, Kurenai grabbed a lion, Enko grabbed a snake, Yugo kept the bear. Okay, whenever we travel, if we are between towns, we will wear these clothes, and no matter where we go, we will go by our animal names, said Tsunade. Why? Asked Naruto. If you go around calling yourself Naruto, you will be easier to track, but if you go by an alias, it's harder to find you, said Tsunade. Okay, so I'm Toad, he said. I'm a fox and I'm being called Fox because of my mask. How ironic, said Q. We can switch if you want to, said Hinata. You sure? Asked Q. Yes, I don't mind going by the name Fox, she answered. Okay. I'm now Cat, said Q. Is everyone else satisfied with their mask? Asked Tsunade. They all said yes. Good, let's go somewhere so we can make a little money, she said. You're not going gamble, said Shizune. Why not? If Naruto is as good as they say, he should be able to win back what I lose. I haven't been able to gamble in a few months, at least let me do it once, said Tsunade. Later, said Shizune. Fine, where are we going? Asked Tsunade. Maybe we should look for some of Orochimaru's old hideouts that he have around here. Never know what we will find that we could use, said Enko. Why would we go looking for his hideouts? Wouldn't that cause us more trouble? Asked Hinata. Usually, but not since he messed up our lives. We will mess up his by destroying every hideout we find that belong to him, said Tsunade. Okay, the first one is near Wave, said Enko. How do you know that? Asked Naruto. He used to be my sensei, that's where he took me when he gave me this curse mark, said Enko. Okay, we will head to Wave, but we still need a schedule for them, said Tsunade. I'll train Hinata in taijutsu at noon, said Enko. All the two in using a katana, speed, strength, and stamina starting at 6 in the morning until 10 inches, said Yugo. I'll train them in medics and teamwork, said Tsunade. I'll do genjutsus, said Kurenai. I'll start them on their element training, said Q. I guess I'm stuck with strategies, practical stuff, and teaching Naruto taijutsu, said Shizune. After traveling at full speed for a few hours, they finally reached the border of Wave Country and Fire Country. First, before we continue, I have something for Hinata and Naruto, Tsunade said, pulling out a scroll. She unsealed it and gave the two a black Chunin vest. They was green, but I had them modified so that no one would associate us with Konoha, she told them. By modified, she means she had me dye them and take the swirl off them, corrected Shizune. Did you have to tell them that? Asked Tsunade. Shizune just shrugged. Is this real? Asked Naruto. Yup, as real as it gets, Gaki, said Tsunade. So we are Chunins? He asked. Very much so. Now stop gawking and put it on. We have to get going before Danzo's route catches up with us, Tsunade said. Okay. Wait, Nichan, can you remove the sleeves on my coat? Asked Naruto. Sure, but why? Asked Shizune. Because it would be easier for me to move my arms if they wasn't restricted by the sleeves of my coat, said Naruto. Okay. Give me your coat, I'll have it modified in a few minutes, said Shizune. Hinata, while this is being done, I need you to sign the snake contract, said Enko. Okay, Enko, said Hinata. Done, Naruto. Shizune handed him back his sleeveless cloak. He grabbed it and put it on over his Chunin vest he wore proudly over his orange t-shirt. Wow, Naruto, you look great now with the vest and sleeveless cloak, said Shizune. Okay, Enko, where is this hideout? Asked Tsunade. Follow me, said Enko. In Konoha, Jiraiya was sitting in the Hokage's office. He sighed as he looked over the decrees that Tsunade made. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby appoint Hyuga Hinata, Uzumaki Naruto the rank Chunin. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby appoint Hinata Hyuga my new apprentice. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby appoint Naruto Uzumaki apprentice of Sennin Jiraiya. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby declare Hyuga Hinata, Uzumaki Naruto, Shizune, and I, Tsunade Senji, be released from any and all obligations and are now free from all ties to Konoha. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby release the Junins Mitarashi Anko and Yuhi Kurenai from all duties and ties to Konoha. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby release Enbu Azuki Yugo from all ties and duties to Konoha. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that the property of Minato Namikaze be placed under my name. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby remove all monies belonging to the Senji name and Namikaze from the banks. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby place Jiraiya of the Sennin as my successor, the 6th Hokage. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that no ninja may follow me without my permission on punishment of death. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby freeze all bank accounts for the next 3 months. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Hitaki Kakashi is banned from reading any porn and is required to teach all genins in ninjutsu. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Uchiha Sasuke is to remain under Anbu surveillance for the rest of his days. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Uchiha Sasuke is banned from having more than 6 kids. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Uchiha Sasuke is not to have a hand in raising any kids that he birth. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that the caged bird seal is banned for use on any persons, and any person who have it will the option to have it removed. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Haruno Sakura be sent to a Yamanaka for mental examination. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that Haruno Sakura be held in Anbu prison for 2 months for assault on Ninja of the Leaf. As the 5th Hokage, I, Tsunade Senji, hereby decree that all A&S rank missions be suspended for the next 6 months. He sighed. This is going to be a headache but fun, he thought. There was a knock on the door. Come in, he said. Ino walked into the office. How can I help you, Ino? He asked. I was given this order by Tsunade to have the doctors at the hospital teach me medics, but so far everyone has refused to teach me, she said. I see, let's go to the hospital then, he said. They walked into the hospital. Hello, who is the doctor in charge here today? Asked Jiraiya. Well, I am, sir, said a doctor walking up to them. Well, why has no doctors started to train Ino in medics? Asked Jiraiya. Because the third made it so we don't have to if we don't want to, said the doctor. Do you like your job? Asked Jiraiya. The doctor nodded. Well, get to training Ino or you will not only lose it but I will put you up on charges of treason, said Jiraiya. Right, come on, Ms. Yamanaka. Do you have good chakra control? Asked the doctor. Thank you, Jiraiya. Yes, I have great control. The second largest chakra reserve of all the Genin Kunoichis to only Hinata, she said proudly. Great, said the doctor. Jiraiya sighed. I'm going to have to watch to make sure she is being taught right. He thought. Then he made a clone and sent it to spy on their training to make sure she was being taught right. Sakura was sitting in the room with Sasuke thinking over everything that happened. She was told she would be able to marry Sasuke if she wanted, and have his children. She thought this was the greatest thing to happen to her since she became a genin. She started to get hungry and got up and left. She saw Ino walking with a doctor and ran to join her. Hey Ino, hold up, she called out. Hi Sakura, said Ino. I was wondering if you were going to marry Sasuke, said Sakura. No, I don't want to. I used to like him just as you did, but after recent events showed me his true colors, I don't want anything to do with him, said Ino. But you always wanted to be with him, said Sakura. I know, Sakura, but people change. I saw what his actions caused my friends, our friends, and I decided I can't be with someone who would cause so many to be injured just for personal revenge, said Ino. I see, I confused. I don't know what to do. I might have ruined my friendship with the one person besides you who actually was nice to me, all because of I liked Sasuke, said Sakura. I heard about what happened with you and Naruto and I must say I am disappointed, but I think if you try hard enough he will forgive you and become your friend again, but only if you step up and admit to everyone that you was wrong, said Ino. Thank you Ino, you always knew how to make me feel better, said Sakura. What kind of best friend would I be if I couldn't make my best friend feel better? Do you want my opinion on what you should do? Asked Ino. Yes, said Sakura. Go find Jiraiya and apologize to him for how you treated Naruto and do everything you can to let him know you're trying your best to change yourself for the better and he might find someone to train you, said Ino. Thanks, I'll do that now. I'll come by your shop later and tell you how it went, said Sakura. Okay, bye, I have to get going, I have training, said Ino as she ran to catch up with the doctor. Sakura ran out the hospital to find Jiraiya. She looked everywhere. He wasn't even in the Hokage Tower where he was supposed to be. She gave up and started to walk home. As she passed the bathhouse she heard a giggle. She went to check it out and saw Jiraiya peeping in on the bathhouse. Excuse me, you shouldn't be doing that, she said. Jiraiya looked over at her. What do you want, Haruno? He asked. I want to talk to you about how I treated Naruto, she said. Why should I listen to anything you have to say? He asked. Because if you at least listen to what I have to say I won't yell out so everyone in the bathhouse knows you're peeping on them, said Sakura. Fine, but if I listen to you, it better be good, he said. Agreed, said Sakura. Okay, begin, said Jiraiya. I'm sorry for how I treated Naruto and I want to at least get the chance to make up for my mistakes. I was influenced by how I felt about Sasuke and when he was in the hospital I didn't stop to think everything through. I just acted and it was stupid, I know, but if given the chance I will do everything in my power to make up for it. Naruto is the only person besides Ino who is my age and treats me fairly and I took it for granted and now I have completely lost the friendship I had with him. I at least want him to know I'm trying to change myself for the better and maybe one day I can do something to make his life a little easier, she said. Well, if you let me take a picture of you I'll set you on the right track to being forgiven, said Jiraiya. Sakura's eyes widened and she covered herself with her arms. There has to be another way, she said, shaking her head. It was worth a try. I'll think of something. Tomorrow go to your regular training area at 10 in the morning and I'll send you a sensei to train you, said Jiraiya. Thank you Jiraiya, she said. Just get going, I have work to do, said Jiraiya. Then he went back to peeping. Sakura left Jiraiya with high hopes of redeeming herself. She already apologized to Ino and Jiraiya. Next she had to find Choji, Shikamaru, Kiba, Shino, and Lee. They would be the easy ones. The one she wasn't looking for talking to was Tenten, who developed an older sister bond with Naruto. She also figured she should at least try and be friends with Neji since he was Hinata's cousin and he would need his help to convince Hinata that she was a changed person. Sakura was walking and ran into the one person she didn't want to, Tenten. Tenten looked at Sakura as if she was deciding to kill her slow or quick. Sakura gulped and slowly put some space between the two. She knew if Tenten decided to fight her it would be nothing she could do to defend herself, so she was preparing herself to run. Tenten, before you decide to kill me at least hear me out. Sakura stuttered badly. Tenten did a Neji-like smirk and looked at her. Why should I after what you did to my brother? She asked. I know I was a bad friend and teammate, but after having the chance to think about my actions I realized how terrible I was to him and I want to change, she said. So just like that you think you can up and change? Asked Tenten. Well, I know it won't be easy but I will try my hardest, said Sakura. So you want to make friends with me, is that right? Asked Tenten. Yes, Sakura said. And what of the damn traitor Uchiha? Asked Tenten. He is not a traitor, he was being controlled by that seal, said Sakura. Sakura, until you forget about that Uchiha we will never be friends and you will always be my enemy as long as you try to protect him. So until the time you realize that the damn spoiled bastard truly is, don't cross me or you might end up in the hospital, said Tenten. But she was cut off. Change as much as you want, but until you let go of this silly fangirl ways you have for him, you will still be the same Sakura, not only to me but to Hinata and Naruto, and no matter how much you change, if that's all we see is your crush on the Uchiha, then it won't matter," said Tenten. She then walked away. Sakura sighed. "I knew it would be hard, but I didn't think she would be this hard to become friends with," she said to herself. Sakura. She turned around and saw Guy, Lee and Neji standing there looking at her. "Yes," she said. "I know you're trying to change and it's hard after so long of believing one thing, but you should really consider what Tenten said, because Naruto holds her opinion on a higher level than any other genin he knows, and if she doesn't like you, then the chances of either Hinata or Naruto liking you is small. Of course you won't get over the Uchiha right away, and Tenten knows that she is giving you a chance to make up for your comment you just made. And trust me, when Tenten doesn't cut you for something you say, then you are on a really short string, and if you do the wrong thing, chances of changing her mind is lost," said Neji. "I don't know Naruto as well as you, but I know he is forgiving, but if Hinata and Tenten don't forgive you, then he probably won't," said Guy. "Come on Sakura, you should spend your time training to clear your head, then come back to this subject when your mind is clear and make a decision," said Lee. "Training with this will also let Tenten see how hard you're trying to change," said Neji. "I would like to, but I can't. Jiraiya-sama already said he would get me a sensei to train me," she said. "You won't be training with your new sensei all day. When you're finished with your sensei, come find us for extra training. You won't change unless you work harder than you did before," said Guy. "Thank you, I will come train with you after I'm done with my sensei tomorrow," she said. A kunai came flying past and smoothly slid across Sakura's jaw. Then Tenten walked up with another kunai in her hand pointed at Sakura. "The next kunai won't miss now. You only have one chance, and one chance only, to change my opinion about you, so you better make it count or all hopes of becoming my brother's friend is lost. Do I make myself clear?" said Tenten. "Yes, Tenten," said Sakura. "Good, don't be late for training. Tomorrow we start team training at 4 in the afternoon." She then walked away and disappeared in the trees headed towards the village. "Told you she was hard to impress," said Neji. "I think I better leave before she changes her mind," said Sakura. On her way home she found the guys at a restaurant and went to apologize to them, which were easy because she agreed to pay for their food, which was a lot with how Choji ate. She was walking home and saw a Hyuga girl walking with a guard and went up to them. "Hey, you're Hinata's sister, aren't you?" asked Sakura. "Why does it matter? She no longer lives in the Hyuga compound," said Hanabi. "I was wonder could I ask you something about her," said Sakura. "Sure, make it quick, I'm busy," said Hanabi. Sakura wondered how busy an 8-year-old could be but shrugged it off. "If someone was trying to make up to her for how they acted, what would you recommend they do?" asked Sakura. "Well, I'm guess this has something to do with that Naruto boy she has a crush on," Sakura nodded. "Well, I would suggest you talk to her and let her know how wrong you was. And get her some cinnamon buns, they are her favorite and she doesn't hold grudges longer than 5 minutes, said Hanabi. "Thank you, now all I have to do is write a letter for Hinata and send her some cinnamon buns to explain why I did what I did," Sakura said. "No worries, now I have to go. But will you send this letter to her with yours?" asked Hanabi, and she gave Sakura the letter, then continued to look for Neji. Sakura ran to the nearest cinnamon bun store and asked for a simple recipe to make some cinnamon buns. She got home with her newly acquired recipe and started to make 2 dozen for Hinata.